Hi, my name is Pam Clarke, and today I'm going to share with you how to work in those flying geese type of blocks. We use them a lot in our piecing, and they also look great in the traditional or like the quilt that's right back here. We're going to be working out of this book. Is called Triangle Tango. It has several ideas for you with arrows, and I'll be drawing some of these up, and then I will be quilting them for you so you know how to keep them continuous. So let's go ahead and get started. So let me show you how to draw up making this continuous, and I'm just going to be doing the simple arcs. And again, remember, where we start is where we want to end if we're going to do it correctly. So I'm going to start here. I'm just going to do an arc to that one, to this one. This is really one of the first designs I did in a flying geese type of quilt. Back to here, around to this one. And you really only need to drop like 3 flying geese designs to practice in. And I'm just using a plastic sheet protector and a dry erase, and then I erase it with a piece of batting. This is the continuous curve one that I told you that was how I really first got started. And I'm just going to go around the blocks, and this will give you an idea how to work in these triangles. Here. That one. Try to get a nice sharp point. That one. And I'm straddling this camera, so I'm not stitching as normally as I do, but you're going to get the idea still. That one. In here. That one. That one. And remember, where you start is where you're going to end, like right there. All right. So that should give you a pretty good idea how to work around those blocks. Now, when you're working with the flying geese type of blocks or borders or in a quilt, a lot of times you're going to find that they are going to be this could be your background, so it could be really light. This is going to be dark. So years ago, when Thimbleberries were doing their block of the months, I think they still are, I'm not sure, there would be like a pine tree. And so the pine trees were going to be like a dark green, and then this was going to be light blue. So what I would do is, because this is not always going to be continuous, all right? And this is a really easy pattern to put into a pine tree block. And you're just going to do a loop like this, and here, that one, and up here. Then to this one, because in some cases you're going to want to change your thread colors, because you wouldn't want to use like dark green in there, and then dark green out there, all right? So just the few minutes it's going to take you to change your thread, it's going to make your quilt look so much better. To here, up, and to that one. All right, so now if I had to change my thread color, I could do like any kind of background stitching in here, but we're just going to do loops, and I call it like easy nails. And you can either start from up here, you could stitch in the ditch, it doesn't matter. But what we're going to do is I'm going to come back down here because I've already changed my thread. So I'm going to come in here, I'm going to do a loop like this, up, and fill it in. To here, and this one's in the book. To that one. And I'm not really fond of ditch quilting, so a lot of times it's just easier for me to break my thread, come over here, but really I stitch better from down on this end. All right, and again, you got to remember, it depends on which way the flying geese are flying or the triangles are pointed. That makes a huge difference on how you're going to be quilting or how you've loaded the quilt. I know this looks just like a lot of loops because I'm using this black dry erase, but again, I would be changing my thread color. And it looks really great, and it's very easy for beginners. This next one I'm doing is going to be the ones that I told you about in the thimbleberries, where I learned how to really work in for those pine trees. And they're just loops. And remember when I talked to you about when I was drawing it up, this would normally be a dark color, and this would be your background, like a light color. So you would definitely want to change your thread colors. But I'm just going to show you the loops that I did. And you don't have to use loops. You can use continuous curve, or you can do the design that was over here in that. It doesn't have to be the loops I'm going to be doing. But this is a very, very, very easy one for a beginner to do. So you start here, you're going to do a loop here. And it depends on how big your triangle is. You know, sometimes you're going to get more in there, up to here. You know, I have like 3 little double loops in here. But maybe if the pine tree or your triangles are bigger, you're going to go 4, maybe 5. If it's smaller, you're only going to do 2 to here. All right, and I told you I don't stitch in the ditch very well, but just to save time, I'm going to go ahead and stitch in the ditch down to here. And then I'm going to do a loop right here, all the way up, and fill it in. Again, you would be using a different color thread. You wouldn't want to do this. Well, you could probably do it like this, but I wouldn't. I would change thread colors. Here. Very easy to do. Beginner, very user-friendly. Here. And done. All right. And actually, that doesn't look bad. So when you load your quilt and you have these type of flying geese type of blocks, it really depends on what section, how these flying geese are flying. They're going north, south, east, or west, or whatever. So anyways, this one pattern, which is one of my favorite ones to do, I'm going to start right here. I'm going to come in like this to here. I'm going to loop back out. Then I'm going to follow this V up to here, but I want to make sure I leave an area in here because I'm going to be working up this area like this, like that. Okay, so you come in here like this, out, loop back, do your swirls, up to here, to the corner, and you could actually put a little loop, a little swirl in there as well. You don't have to just do these loops. And this is in the book. To here. Now I'm going to come back. I'm going to come this way. To here. That one. Back. So the only way you can keep this continuous is you got to come in this way, back, or you can do a continuous curve like I stitched up for you. This one. And again, remember where you start when you're doing this continuous is where you're going to end. There we go. So here's how I'm going to start. I'm going to go ahead and do this corner. And you can do these little things at the same time, or you can come when you're coming back. So sometimes I forget. So if I'm stitching, I know that when I'm coming back down, I can pick it up. So I'm coming here like this, nice little sharp point to here. Then I'm going to do my little loop, but you can also do, you can even put a little swirl in there. Okay, it doesn't have to be a loop. I'm just trying to do something kind of fast so you can see how to work around these blocks or these triangles. And I'm going to do a loop. And when you're doing this one, you got to remember that you're going to be coming through here with an arc. All right, so you need to leave a little bit of room. And again, it depends on how wide your triangles are. I'm putting 2 in there, but I've done 4, 3, and 4, and 5. It just depends on how big that flying geese is. So to here. To this one, here, that one, and like I said, there's lots of ideas in that sketchbook, and you're going to be able to come up with your own. So here, I'm going to come this way. This one. Back. And it really is a lot easier to work in an actual patchwork. But what happens if I do that, you can't really see the stitching very well. Unless I did it all in black or something, but still. All right, I hope that gives you a good idea on how to work on these blocks. I know because it's really confusing when you're working in this type of a block, because I used to have such a hard time with it, and I finally had to just work through it. I'll go ahead and when I turn the camera off, I'm going to show you some samples of some quilting on a sample I did for my classes. And anyways, well, thank you for letting me share this with you, and I hope you learned a lot from it.